Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Dave Koken and Ralph Michaels of WagerTalk.com. We're talking NFL playoffs Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Prime time kickoff here Saturday night. Tampa Bay Bucs at the Washington football team. Dave, coming to you first. We got a 45 being the total. Looks like Tampa Bay mostly -8 in the marketplace as we're talking right now. There is -8.5s out there. What are you thinking with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucs on the road at the NFC East champion? Talking about Washington football team here, Dave.
I don't think it's a very good matchup for Washington. They need to be able to establish the run to be successful because this is not a team that throws the ball well. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like everybody else, I'm rooting for Alex Smith. I think it's just absolutely amazing what he's accomplished. But he's not exactly an elite quarterback at this point, and his mobility is completely limited. So they have to be able to run the football. And the problem there is that Tampa has one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. They just are not an easy team to run on. So I don't know how Washington's going to generate much offense in this game. The defense for Washington is outstanding. It's the reason they managed to win that horrible division and are in the playoffs. But are you going to hold Brady down in the playoffs? I don't know. I know Evans might not be able to go in this game for Tampa, but they've still got a multitude of talented guys on offense. I think Tampa eventually pulls away and puts this one in the win column by a pretty good margin.
All right, and Ralph, what are you thinking here? Dave, I don't know. You agreeing or disagreeing here with Dave, Ralph?
Well, Drew, I'm going to give you a little time so you can get your thoughts clear in your head. You're going to be the final decision on this game because I'm gonna butt heads with Dave, and I don't like doing that. But you look at, Dave, great points. Dave said Tampa Bay's defense, their rush defense, number one, allowing 80 yards per game, number one, allowing 3.6 yards per carry. But I look at this Washington defense, it's also the number two defense, only allowing 4.8 yards per play. And the thing when I'm watching Brady this year, people don't talk about is he actually got a happy few games that he was sacked 3 times. And it was only 4 games, so don't get me wrong. It's not a huge sample size. But he got sacked 3 games against New Orleans. They scored 23 points. They lost. He got sacked 3 times against Chicago. They scored 19 points and lost. Got sacked 3 times again against the Saints. He scored 3 points. They lost. And he got sacked 3 times against Atlanta in a game they won but failed to cover. So he's 0-4 ATS. You look at this Washington D-line, they've had 3 or more sacks 9 times this year. We know Chase Young is playing as well as anyone down the stretch. So I do think it's going to be a close game. I've got a stat for you, and I'm not by any means basing this play, but it certainly is an interesting stat. My database in college football, in the NFL playoffs goes back to 2002. Of the teams that came in to the wild card round with a 500 record or a losing record like the Washington Redskins, they've gone 7-0 against the spread, and they've gone 6-1 straight up, pulling the outright upset 6 times. So, we know there is a bandwagon of people thinking, oh, Washington doesn't deserve to be here. I'm going to bet on Tampa Bay. The line opened at 7? It climbed to 8. So I think the Skins can't keep this game close.
Dave, do you have any rebuttal here?
Yeah, Washington doesn't belong in the playoffs. That's my rebuttal. They might. Okay. I've been following the NFL for a long time. This is the worst team I've ever seen in the playoffs. Ever. They stink. That division doesn't deserve a playoff representative, but the rules say they have to get one and get a home team. I
have the Redskins higher than the Bears, Dave.
I
have put by 1 point.
Although it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Well, Ralph, I guess to play kind of the middleman here, I'm with you, actually. I like Washington here. I think we get a couple key numbers, field goal, touchdown, the losses we still cover. I like what the stats you threw out. I would look towards the money line. I love the D line angle. I mean, I get Tampa Bay, trying to become the first team to play a Super Bowl at home, Tom Brady, the whole bit. I wouldn't actually be surprised if they take some money here. But one, the defensive line against Tom Brady, I love that aspect to the football team side of it. And I wanted to throw out a stat here, see if you guys think that this has any meaning or any, could be an impact here from Doug Kazarian on Twitter. Tom Brady's 43 years old, normally goes to bed around 8:30 p.m. In primetime games, kickoff around 8:15 p.m. this season. He's 1-3, 0-4 against the spread with 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. You think there's anything to that, Dave?
No.
And Ralph, what about you?
I think it's because they played the New Orleans Saints a couple times, and the New Orleans Saints are one of the 4 best teams in football. So, I think it has more to do with the competition of being on prime time. This is by far the weakest competition he's faced on prime time. And shit, it's 8:15 in an NFL playoff game. Even I can stay up that late.
Yeah, I think he can adjust his clock. What would be his career record?
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's something that goes back several years, where there's some definitive trend, okay, maybe you look at it. But a 4-game sample, no, I'm gonna skip that.
Okay,
as I will as well.
We'll stick to the strong defensive line against Tom Brady in the Washington side. But Dave, liking the Bucs in this one, guys. Check out both Ralph and Dave Koken at WagerTalk.com, and you can get a big discount here. College basketball, NFL, all access, $199. You get 30-day all access. So check it out, WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com.